This morning, President Biden continues his visit to South Korea, where he's met with the country's newly inaugurated president and has reaffirmed America's long-standing commitment to that nation's security. Back here at home, film and TV projects by or about South Koreans have suddenly been in the spotlight, including a powerful new series on Apple TV that's already been renewed for a second season. Pachinko is both an epic saga of Korean history and an intimate look at one family's experience through the generations. Michelle Miller has the story.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The lighthearted mood of Pachinko's opening credits gives little away to the dark past of the series' plotline. But it dares to hope.
People are going to be really touched, and it's going to move a lot of people's emotions.
It did that for Min-ha Kim, the virtually unknown actor who won the lead role.
You didn't have a lot of experience in the industry before getting this part.
This is the most significant role that I had in my life.
She plays Sunja, the matriarch of a poor Korean family. Her star turn in Apple TV's Pachinko is giving Americans a history lesson.
A chance for a lot of people around the world to get to know the culture of Korea, to get to know our history.
A history telling the story of Japanese occupation. Between 1910 and 1945, Koreans were denied their language, their culture. They were even forced to take on Japanese names. Many died in protest, and hundreds of thousands of others were shipped into hard labor or prostitution. Pachinko's Sunja grows up during that colonial rule.
In the middle of this, so much horrible things are happening around them, they were trying to keep the things stable with their love. I think that's the most powerful message that we have.
While period dramas like Bridgerton have become big hits,
for all of you,
Hollywood doesn't usually invest in sweeping historical shows that aren't spoken in English.
이 안은 내 압니다. 내 기라예.
이런 멍청한.
But Pachinko is enjoying both critical and popular success.
진짜 니가 착한 거지.
Not unlike Oscar winners Parasite and Minari.
Please stand. What a beautiful family. Glad you're here.
And one of the most watched series on Netflix, Squid Game.
There's no easy way to say this. You're not getting the bump. Not this year.
A trilingual show on a major streamer or broadcaster hadn't been done before.
Pachinko showrunner Sue Hugh had an uphill climb to find backing.
If there's nothing else, I'd like to go to my daughter's wedding.
But drew inspiration from the Godfather trilogy and its focus on family.
I watched The Godfather when I was 12 years old, and it really is the film that made me want to be a filmmaker. But then when I think about Pachinko, this is not a crime show. But what I loved about The Godfather is in some ways, even though crime was its way in, it really is about this family, and especially Godfather 2. I just thought it was the way it weaved together past and present and created a very literary dialogue. It became a model in terms of structure for us.
This storyline continues through a second and third generation. Sunja's son, owner of a gaming pachinko parlor, and his son Solomon.
And at the end of the day, your own tally defies gravity.
A Yale graduate trying to earn respect beyond the insular prejudices of 1980s Tokyo. The elder Sunja is played by Oscar winner Yoon Jung-young.
And the Oscar goes to Je Jung-yoon,
who won Best Supporting Actress for her role last year in Minari.
Thanks to the Academy members who voted for me.
She was so legendary actress in Korea before that. So when I heard that YJ is gonna be the elder Sunja, I was like, oh my God, that's a big thing. I have to be really good.
솔로몬은 착한 아다.
Neither met before filming.
어디서 그딴 소리를 합니까?
You just had to act it out on faith?
Yes. But that worked. So I really had a very strong faith to her and to the baby Sunja.
For Kim, the story of Sunja runs deep.
Why did you connect with her?
It's kind of abnormal for me to just connect with Sanja right away after I read the script, right? Before that, I had to think about that character and myself, and I have to find out the connections between them and me, but this one was very different. Like, I just felt it right away that she's fragile. She's so fragile and delicate, but she's somehow very strong.
The wedding scene. What happened when you read that scene?
In Korea, the rice and the food is kind of like another language for us. It's like meal is really, really important, especially for the white rice and that wedding scene. It means a lot, like it means everything. That's why Sanja cried so hard at that night of the wedding day, because it's so, like my grandmother told me, it was so hard to get the white rice at that time.
And her grandmother's stories of that time in Korea painted a fuller picture.
Because it was a colonial era, so the government took all the rice from the people in Korea. It was unbelievable. It was like, how did you suffer? And she said, it was just natural, everybody did it, so it was not only me doing that.
Despite being told in Korean, Japanese, and very little English, Pachinko has found its American audience.
There's so many more stories and topic to tell the audience in Korea, not only in Korea, but around the Asian culture. So I think it's a great step to move forward for people around the world to get to know each other.
It's so amazing to see how audiences are open these days to language or to shows and movies that are not in English, because that opens the landscape of what you can tell in such a big way.
Family is universal, and story and family dramas and tragedies and everything else. I mean, everybody, no matter where you live, everybody goes through.
It doesn't matter the language.
Yeah.
It's storytelling, and it's the heart at the center of it. I thought it was so interesting when she compared it to The Godfather. It's so true. That's exactly what it is. If you watch, the way you are going back and forth, and it's all just woven together beautifully.
It transcends cultures.
Yeah.
There's that famous line about The Godfather. There's only one reason why that movie was successful, one and only. It was about family.
Yeah.